A single moment of inattention is a fatal mistake. The most formidable predators contend for supremacy. The throne belongs only to the strongest. Who, then, is the master hunter? On the savanna, silence is not peace, but a shroud for death. In a fleeting lapse of concentration, a zebra has entered the crosshairs of a killing machine. Three seconds to escape. But as the shadow of the lioness descends, all instinct is too late. Here, it is the lioness who leads the charge. While the male hangs back to protect, the lioness cedes the first bite to him, a reflection of the pride's strict social order. The lion is the only cat to live in a complex social group. Its members cooperate in the hunt, in defense, and in the raising of the young. The male's thick mane not only impresses the females, but also acts as a form of armor, shielding his neck and head during combat. A lion's roar can echo for up to 5 miles. It is both a declaration of territory and a way for members to locate one another in the dark. Young males are driven from the pride at around 2 to 3 years of age, forced to find or conquer a new territory of their own. Though it may seem merciless, this is a common survival strategy, ensuring that the genes of the dominant male are passed on. A lion's territory can span from 8 to over 150 square miles. The pride's male patrols its boundaries, marking them with scent and roaring to warn off intruders. During the dry season, grazers must drink often, concentrating around the few remaining water sources, which become, for the lions, a veritable feast. The dry season forces the lions to rely more on stamina than on speed. Although they can reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, they can maintain it for only a short burst, relying instead on group ambushes. Even as the rulers of the savanna, lions spend some 16 to 20 hours a day at rest, conserving their energy. However, lion populations are in decline across many regions due to the loss of their prey. It is a stark reminder of the fragile balance between predator and prey. In the grand panorama of the Serengeti, there is a predator whose very existence is synonymous with stealth, the Nile crocodile. When the great rains fall, the arid hollows along the Grumeti River are reborn as deep pools, For weeks on end, they can lie motionless, their bodies concealed in the murky water. Only their eyes and nostrils break the surface, transforming them into living traps, patiently awaiting their moment. The rainy season brings an abundance of water, drawing herbivores to quench their thirst and rest. Lurking near the waterholes, the Nile crocodiles make the most of this opportunity. With large prey, they will drag their victim underwater to drown it, then perform their infamous death roll to tear the carcass apart. One of their most astonishing traits is their tolerance for hunger. A mature crocodile can go for months without a meal. It is this ability that allows them to lie in ambush for weeks without any loss of strength. This patience is aided by a biological marvel, a four-chambered heart. Unlike most reptiles, they possess a special valve, the foramen of Panizza, which allows them to shunt blood away from the lungs when submerged. This enables them to hold their breath for over an hour, turning patience into a lethal biological weapon. While the water's surface shows barely a ripple, deep inland, a majestic, low rumble is heard the African bush elephant. Moving in herds, like living tanks, they crush the undergrowth with every powerful step. The elephant is never truly alone. At their side are companions like the cattle egret and the red-billed oxpecker, forming a unique symbiotic relationship. Their diet shifts with the seasons, from the lush new grass that makes up 70% of their intake to woody plants when the dry season arrives. Elephant families are led by a matriarch, a seasoned and experienced female. Their bodies are masterpieces of natural engineering. Enormous ears help to dissipate heat, and wrinkled skin retains moisture, but their true power lies in the versatile trunk. It can draw water to spray over their bodies for cooling, and dig deep into dry riverbeds to find underground springs, creating wells for many other species. Their connections extend far beyond what human ears can detect. Elephants communicate using infrasonic rumbles, low-frequency vibrations that travel through the ground for dozens of miles. These seismic calls allow herds to warn of danger or signal the way to water. As ecosystem engineers, elephants reshape the landscape, breaking branches and pushing over small trees, which clears the way for new vegetation to grow. They are also great sowers, dispersing seeds through their dung, enriching the soil and sustaining biodiversity. As dusk settles, the herd moves on, leaving behind a land they have remade. As the African elephants pass, leaving openings in the canopy, the Masai giraffe steps quietly into view. They have no need to clear a path. Their height already grants them access to the highest foliage. This is the tallest giraffe subspecies and the tallest terrestrial animal on the planet. A fully grown adult can stand up to 19 feet tall, its neck accounting for nearly half that height. This unique body structure allows them to browse on treetops that few other herbivores can reach. However, this extraordinary height becomes a critical vulnerability when they need to bend down to drink. They must splay their forelegs wide or kneel, a perilous posture. In that moment, they become an easy target for predators like lions and leopards. To stay safe, they often choose wide, open drinking spots, drink quickly, and then immediately raise their heads to scan for threats. A notable social behavior during the rainy season is their tendency to form temporary, unstructured groups. A group may consist of individuals of all ages and sexes, gathering for short periods around browse-rich trees or water sources. Although there is no hierarchy, gathering in a group offers a strategic advantage. More eyes mean earlier detection of predators. Since 2019, the Masai giraffe has been listed as an endangered species. In just 3 decades, their numbers have plummeted by roughly 50%. The primary causes include habitat loss, poaching for meat and body parts, and growing conflict with humans over land. On the acacia branches, recently stripped by the Masai giraffes, a slight movement stirs the lower limbs. A vervet monkey swings from one branch to another, its sharp, intermittent calls echoing through the woodland. Small in stature but striking in appearance, the vervet monkey impresses with its silver-grey coat and black face. Its long tail provides perfect balance as it navigates the treetops. A unique feature of the adult male is a patch of pale blue skin on the abdomen, an important visual signal in social communication. These monkeys are true opportunists. During the rainy season, their diet is incredibly rich, from fruits and seeds to insects and young leaves. At the first sign of danger, such as the shadow of a leopard or the wing beat of a martial eagle, one of them will emit a piercing alarm call. What is astonishing is that they possess an extremely complex language of alarm. They use different calls for different types of predators. A bark might mean leopard, and the troop will climb to the highest treetops. A short cough could signify eagle, prompting the troop to look to the sky and seek cover. A chattering AA sound means snake, and the troop will stand on their hind legs to scan the ground. It is an intelligent and effective early warning system. As the echoes of the primate calls fade, a black-backed jackal moves across the forest floor with a quiet confidence. Its coat is a clever mix of silver grey, rust brown, and a bold black saddle running down its back. Its pointed ears and keen eyes act as a radar system. Weighing only 13 to 29 pounds, these jackals may seem small, but they are agile, intelligent, and exceedingly cunning. The black-backed jackal is a shrewd hunter, capable of hunting alone or in pairs. During the rainy season, when life flourishes, their menu becomes incredibly rich and varied. When the scent of a large carcass drifts on the humid air, their sharp sense of smell can detect it from over a mile away. They live in monogamous pairs. A mated pair may stay together for life, hunting and raising their young together. Black-backed jackals play a vital role in the woodland ecosystem. They are the silent cleaners, helping to decompose carcasses and control rodent populations. Once more, we turn our eyes to the sky, but this time it is a streak of vibrant, delicate color against the damp post-rain sky. The lilac-breasted roller spreads its wings like a living rainbow, adorned with shades of purple, green, blue, and a touch of pink on its breast. Though only about 14 inches long, this bird has an unmistakable, characteristic flight. As it soars, it often performs spectacular aerial acrobatics. These dives and twists in mid-air are not just an impressive hunting tactic, but also part of the courtship display during the breeding season. The damp weather after a rain draws insects out from their hiding places, and this is a golden time for the lilac-breasted roller. This bird does not gather in large flocks, but usually moves in pairs. They hold small territories, often centered around a tall cluster of trees near an open clearing. When the last of the rain dissolves into the valley, it sounds a silent bell, signaling the start of a great journey. There is no grand beginning, only the steady, thundering rhythm of hooves crushing the young grass underfoot. The great migration to the west and towards the regions around the Grumeti and Mara rivers begins, with over 2 million individuals on the move. Along the way, the animals pass through acacia woodlands and riverine forests. These are distinctive ecological transition zones, offering shade, moisture, and patches of new grass. Pausing in the acacia groves, the wildebeest graze on fresh shoots growing in the shade, which are high in phosphorus and nitrogen, essential for nursing mothers and their calves. Leading the migration are the plains, zebras, the natural pioneers and sentinels. With their height and keen eyes, they guide the herds and are the first to spot danger. In this green and seemingly tranquil space, Nile crocodiles lurk at the water's edge. A constant fear whispered among the herds. As the animals bend to drink, the glare of the water narrows their vision, and that is when the trap is sprung. Many wildebeest die not in the jaws of a crocodile, but in the ensuing chaos, trampled by their own kind. Leopards, too, wait patiently, using the dense trees at the forest edge for cover. At this time, the woodland becomes a vital crossroads, a living corridor where species gather to drink, feed, and elude the hand of fate. But not all will make it through. The weak, the young, or those who fall behind often vanish without a trace, and no one turns back for them. Long after the herds have passed, the woodland retains its silent record. Claw marks, wells dug by elephants, and broken tree trunks. And now the ecosystem shifts once again into a harsher phase. The leaves turn yellow, and many of the smaller streams run dry, leaving behind a cracked earth. The air grows dry and hot. During this period, wildfires are common, sparked by a combination of dry grass, strong winds, and rainless lightning. But rather than being destructive, these fires serve a vital purpose, clearing old vegetation, enriching the soil, and stimulating dormant seeds to germinate. As the dry season grips the woodland, even after nightfall, the temperature remains above 77 degrees Fahrenheit. But for the leopard, this is the perfect time. A solitary figure, silent yet commanding. Unlike the lion, who roars to assert his presence, the leopard uses silence to draw opportunity to itself. Its coat is a subtle blend of pale gold and black rosettes, allowing it to merge with the dry grass and tree bark. Each rosette pattern is a unique fingerprint. No two leopards are exactly alike. But this is not just about beauty. It is optical camouflage. The irregular edges of the black spots break up its body outline perfectly in the dappled light of the woodland, turning the predator into a true phantom. But this time of year brings a new opportunity. The waterholes, where thirst brings everything together. At these drinking spots, small and medium-sized animals must come to drink, and the leopard can wait and anticipate. Its main activity begins after dark. To claim a throne, the internal competition among leopards is fierce. A male leopard may kill cubs that are not his own. During the dry season, when resources are scarce, this behavior increases, but the females are not helpless. They move nimbly and change their dens to protect their young. The leopard closes in on its prey like a ghost, so silent that its very breath becomes a weapon. With eyes that pierce the darkness, it dispatches its target before the victim can even register that death is upon it. Its incredible strength allows it to haul prey twice its body weight up into branches more than 30 feet high. The impala, graceful creatures with ears ever turned to every sound. In the dry season, when fresh grass is scarce, impala switch to browsing on leaves, shoots, and soft bark from low-lying trees. As the water sources shrink, the impala do not wander far. They are forced to concentrate around the last remaining pools. There, every step is a search for water and a watch for threats. The impala herd acts as a natural alarm system. They take turns on watch, ears pricked, eyes constantly scanning their surroundings. In these difficult times, the territorial male impalas defend their ground more fiercely. The battles for dominance become more intense. The impala has no claws, no thick hide like the buffalo. Their only weapons are speed and reflexes. An impala can leap up to 10 feet high and 33 feet forward in a single bound. Yet sometimes, even constant vigilance is not enough. The weaker, the younger, the careless, or those exhausted by thirst, are often the ones left behind. However, the leopard's feast does not end there. Hidden in the red dust of the woodland, another target often comes into its sights. On the golden grasslands of the Serengeti, the silhouette of a warthog appears. A wild pig with curved tusks, known for kneeling on its front legs to dig for roots and tubers. This posture allows them to forage beneath the surface, even in the hard-baked soil of the woodland. Unlike many animals that hide in burrows during the day, the warthog is primarily active when the sun is high. At night, the warthog sleeps or takes shelter in burrows. They often use abandoned aardvark dens as their overnight refuge. When threatened, the warthog does not flee alone. It immediately dashes for its burrow, head held low, digging deeper to escape the predator's reach. The warthog plays a significant role in the leopard's hunting strategy. Though smaller than antelope, their regular availability makes them an attractive target. Ironically, it is their habit of being active during the day that makes them more vulnerable. They sleep in their burrows at night, then emerge at dawn and dusk, the peak activity hours for a leopard. The Serengeti woodland is also home to other large species, even during the harsh dry season. The African buffalo moves in herds of dozens, sometimes hundreds. Under the dry heat, the buffalo herd is in no hurry. They are well accustomed to the lack of water, relying instead on long-term memory to move between grazing patches and the few remaining water points. The social structure of the Cape buffalo herd is highly organized. A large, experienced bull acts as the leader, guiding the group's movements and reactions. At midday, the entire herd stops under the rare shade, not just to rest, but also to regulate their body temperature. But it is not just the heat or hunger that threatens the buffalo. Predators like lions still lurk silently at the herd's edge. However, the herd's tight-knit structure remains its most effective shield. When one member is threatened, the entire herd reacts almost instantly. The mobbing behavior, a collective charge to repel a predator, is what makes many hunters back down. A full-grown buffalo can charge at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour with curved horns that carry the weight of sledgehammers. The African buffalo has relatively poor eyesight and hearing, relying primarily on its highly developed sense of smell to detect danger. This is why they often gather in large groups and maintain close proximity to one another, to compensate for their sensory limitations. Although they are herbivores, their diet is quite restricted, consisting mainly of dry grass. The dry season forces them to travel further to find enough food. The African buffalo also inspires fear in many other species. They are responsible for an estimated 200 human fatalities each year across Africa. That number surpasses most carnivores and even rivals lions and crocodiles. High above, while buffalo and impala struggle to protect their herds, another predator watches silently from a bare branch. It is the martial eagle, a powerful bird of prey with a wingspan of nearly 8.5 feet. This makes it the largest eagle in Africa. Its broad vision allows it to spot young monkeys or large birds moving in the canopy below. Once it has locked onto a target, it dives like an arrow, swift and precise. At this time of year, the hot winds often create rising air currents, which the martial eagle uses as highways in the sky. They can soar for hours, patrolling their hunting grounds without needing to flap their wings frequently. The presence of the martial eagle plays a crucial role in the woodland ecosystem. They help to control the populations of insectivorous birds and other smaller avian species. As the apex predator of the sky, the martial eagle helps to stabilize the ecosystem, much as the leopard does on the ground. However, their existence is increasingly fragile. The International Union for Conservation of Nature has listed the martial eagle as an endangered species since 2020. From the tranquil waters, millions of lesser flamingos gather, stretching across the lake like a vibrant pink carpet. The evolutionary history of the lesser flamingo spans millions of years, originating from ancestors that thrived in highly alkaline wetlands. Their long legs, reaching up to 5 feet, coupled with a light yet strong body, allow them to navigate soft mud and shallow waters with ease. Their distinctive curved beak, equipped with a sophisticated filtering mechanism, is an essential tool for harvesting algae and plankton. Here, they not only feed but also breed, completing an essential ecological cycle. The social nature of the lesser flamingo is indispensable to its survival. Large flocks, sometimes numbering up to 2 million individuals, provide protection against predators. Their feeding behavior is a remarkable example of nature's ingenuity. While holding their heads down in the water, their curved beaks filter algae and tiny organisms from the mineral-rich waters. The deeper pink coloration of the adults is a visual sign of health and readiness, playing a vital role in attracting a mate. As the woodlands thin out to the south and west, the central plains of the Serengeti emerge, an endless sea of grass stretching to the horizon. The terrain here is flat and vast, forming grasslands that seem to go on forever. This is a critical ecological transition zone within the Serengeti Plains system. The Central Plains are the ecological heart, a place where all migratory routes must pass and where some of Africa's most dynamic populations converge. As the curtain of the dry season falls upon the Serengeti Plains, a colossal current of life begins to move the blue wildebeest. They flow like a biological river of surging life. Their synchronized breeding strategy saturates predators with sheer numbers. Thousands of calves are born at almost the same time. This journey follows a path deeply ingrained in their instincts and collective memory. The herd operates with system and structure. Most are females and their young. During rest, the calves lie in the center, shielded by a wall of mothers. The blue wildebeest has a robust body, weighing from 330 to 550 pounds as an adult. Built for long-distance endurance, their bodies are energy efficient. To sustain this strength, a wildebeest consumes about 9 to 11 pounds of grass per day, preferring the young, soft shoots. The rainy season savanna becomes more alive than ever as the wildebeest lead the way. And right alongside them, the plains zebra moves in herds like a living wave of black and white. The zebra's diet consists mainly of grass, making up 96.9% of its food intake. They digest it quickly thanks to a simple digestive system. Zebras tend to eat the taller, coarser grasses on top, clearing the way for wildebeest to feed on the softer layers beneath. At the same time, the zebra serves as a visual shield for the group when danger approaches. Zebras live in small family groups, each led by a stallion with a few mares and their offspring. When these families gather into larger herds, their vigilance increases. The zebra's journey of survival is starkly defined by the long, dry season. As water sources diminish, the herds rely on their spatial memory to navigate. When the sun sets, zebras sleep standing up. But there is always one individual awake on guard duty. Their survival instinct is built on connection and constant awareness. The rainy season comes alive as the Thompson's gazelle displays its full survival instincts. They take advantage of the low-growing new grasses left behind after the zebras have cleared the taller layers. With speeds reaching 50 to 55 miles per hour, the Thompson's gazelle turns every leap and sharp turn into a tool for survival. The Thompson's gazelle is primarily a grazer, with grass comprising 96.9% of its diet. During the dry season, they migrate far in search of food and water, following the cycles of rain and grass growth across the plains. Their stotting strategy, high, V-shaped jumps, is a way of challenging predators. It is a display of speed and vitality. During the breeding season, the young are born almost simultaneously to reduce pressure from predators. This phenomenon is known as synchronized birthing, a clever survival tactic. On the vast grasslands, blending in with the color of the dry grass, something flashes by like the wind. But if you look closely, you will notice the small spots on its body, and that can only be the cheetah. The cheetah is the fastest land animal, It can reach 70 miles per hour in just a few seconds, rivaling a Ferrari. This is thanks to a lightweight skeleton, a slender body, powerful hind legs, and a long tail that acts as a rudder for balance. However, to achieve that speed, the cheetah has made trade-offs. A small, narrow head reduces wind resistance. But weak jaws and short canine teeth mean it cannot hold on to prey for long or fight off larger predators. On the savanna, the cheetah selects young or solitary individuals. Such prey tends to be slower and easier to catch. First, the cheetah often climbs a low termite mound or a ridge to observe the wind direction and the movement of the gazelles. When the distance closes to between 200 and 330 feet, the cheetah launches into a sprint. The chase is usually very short, less than 1,000 feet, as its body quickly tires and overheats. The cheetah's hunting success rate is quite high, around 40 to 50% in the Serengeti when hunting Thomson's gazelles. Cheetahs are most active at dawn and dusk when the temperature is cooler and large predators, like lions or hyenas, are less active. However, cheetahs cannot climb like leopards because their claws are non-retractable. This helps them maintain grip while running, but it also prevents them from carrying their prey up a tree. As a result, the cheetah must eat its prey on the ground and cannot hide it. 12% of their kills are stolen by larger predators shortly after being taken down. Cheetahs have a very low reproductive rate, and the young are particularly vulnerable. In the wild, the mortality rate for cubs under 3 months old can be as high as 90%. In the fiery heart of Africa, where the sky seems to bleed into the earth, a river winds through the Golden Plains. This is the Masai Mara. This legendary river not only nourishes the vast land, but is also the lifeblood for millions of wild souls. Each year, as the dry season arrives, the Mara becomes the stage for the greatest migration on the planet. Herds of wildebeest, zebra, and Thomson's gazelle must face the perilous crossing, where the jaws of crocodiles lie hidden, waiting coldly to extinguish a life. In that moment, all of nature seems to hold its breath. Life and death are separated by a single leap. Kenya is a place where nature does not simply exist. It lives vibrant, fierce, and full of spirit. Across the Great Plains, amongst the scrub and woodlands, life is in constant, restless motion. The Big Five, the five iconic species of the African continent, appear one by one, the protagonists in a drama of the wild. There is the African elephant, silent yet majestic. The rhinoceros, mysterious and rare. The Cape buffalo, stubborn and resilient. The leopard, as graceful as a phantom. And, of course, the lion, the uncrowned king of the savanna. Kenya is also home to thousands of species of birds, antelope, giraffes, hippos, cheetahs, and countless reptiles, each a unique note in the grand symphony of survival. Among them all, it is the lion that commands nature itself to fall silent with its roar. With its magnificent golden mane, its regal gait, and its powerful gaze, the lion is a living symbol of strength and authority. The Masai Mara is Kenya's most famous reserve, where large prides of lions live in tightly organized social structures. Unlike the solitary image of other great cats, like the tiger or the leopard, the lion is a social animal. A dominant male, sometimes a coalition of brothers, leads a pride of related females and their young. These strong bonds, discipline, and clear roles create a collective as formidable as any tribe. The sun scorches the Kenyan savanna in the final days of the dry season, when the heat seems to crack the very earth. In this arid landscape, the Masai Mara River, though nearly depleted, remains a vital destination for countless species. A mighty herd of Cape buffalo, hundreds strong, moves slowly toward the riverbank, where a few muddy pools remain. Their curved horns, like weapons of war, glint in the sun. They lower their heads to drink, their massive bodies heaving in the oppressive heat. The few females rest in the sparse shade, while the young, covered in mud, stay close to their mothers. The air seems peaceful, but on the savanna, everything can change in an instant. Not far away, beneath a dry acacia tree, tawny shapes lie motionless in the tall grass. A pride of lions, several adult females, and an old male are resting, but their eyes are fixed on the buffalo herd. They need no signal, no sound. A single glance and a subtle flick of a tail are enough for the pride to understand that an opportunity is approaching. The wind shifts, carrying the thick scent of sweat and the sound of hooves in the mud. A hunt, or rather, a battle, is about to begin. In a moment, the pride will explode into action, shattering the stillness, and attack the herd with all the power and instinct of millennia. Blood, mud, and dust will merge in an unforgiving dance of survival. After a breathtaking chase, the pride finally brings down its quarry. They begin to tear at the flesh, savoring a rare taste of freshness. It is a worthy reward for the victor after a life and death struggle. But even for a king, the throne is never permanent. In the world of lions, life is a series of relentless battles. Adult males constantly challenge one another for power, for control of the pride, and with it, the right to mate. These brutal fights can last for hours, ending in deep wounds or even death. When a new male deposes the ruler, he often kills all the cubs of the vanquished, forcing the females back into estrus, a harsh but necessary biological cycle for evolution. In the heart of the arid Kalahari Desert, a place that seems to swallow all life, there exists a natural wonder called the Okavango. It is a rare inland delta, where the river does not flow to the sea but vanishes into the thirsty earth. Each year, when the floods arrive from Angola, the Okavango Delta awakens like a miracle. And that is when the animals begin their long journey, converging here from all directions. After crossing hundreds of miles of burning desert, herds of buffalo, giraffe, antelope, and wild dogs finally find the fresh, life-giving pools. With each step sinking deep into the soft, damp earth, they rush to the water's edge, drinking and immersing themselves, as if to quench a thirst built up over an entire dry season. It is a moment of rebirth, as exhausted creatures find new life in a land that seemed utterly barren. On a green plain, where the water has receded after the flood, leaving behind soft, moist earth, tawny shapes lie in wait. It is a pride of lions, intently watching the every move of a distant wildebeest herd. The silence is heavy. A light breeze skims the tops of the grass, carrying the scent of earth and life. Amidst the seemingly peaceful vegetation, only the amber eyes of the pride are in motion, watching, analyzing, and waiting. Hunting is not a game of strength, but an art of timing. And the floodplains of the Okavango are a stage where instinct, strategy, and patience combine to create a spectacular display of survival. As the first lioness bursts from the tall grass, the wildebeest herd scatters in panic. The thunder of hooves on the damp ground and the sound of ragged breaths echo across the plain. The pride moves like living arrows, tearing through wind and grass, pursuing their prey under a sun that bakes the earth. On the Okavango Plains, where everything seems to be a symbol of peace and fertility, lies one of the most brutal battlefields of life. Here, every creature must choose: flee or fight, wait or attack. Whether predator or prey, each day is a gamble for survival. Life continues in an eternal cycle. The death of a wildebeest today is food for the pride, energy that will sustain the lives of their cubs in the future. There is no absolute victory, only a balance fragile, cold, and haunting on the winds that sweep across the Okavango. The African savanna stretches endlessly, its golden fields and scattered acacia trees creating an ideal habitat for the lion. The climate here is harsh, with a long, hot, dry season, punctuated by a short rainy season when the green grass returns. This variation creates a distinct rhythm of life, where migratory species are in constant motion, searching for food and water. And the lion, the apex predator, always follows these migrations. The savanna lion has a large, muscular body and a pale brown coat, providing perfect camouflage in the dry grass. Males are distinguished by their dense manes, which are not only a symbol of strength, but also a layer of protection during fights. They are not as adept at climbing as leopards, nor as swift as cheetahs, but they compensate with formidable power and a remarkable ability to work as a team, allowing them to take down large prey like buffalo, zebra, and wildebeest. Unlike most solitary big cats, the savanna lion is a social species with a complex pride structure. A pride usually consists of 10 to 15 individuals, led by 1 or 2 dominant males. The lionesses are responsible for hunting and raising the young, while the males protect the territory and the pride from intruders. This unity and clear division of labor make them the most effective hunters on the savanna. The lion cubs, their coats still dappled with spots, chase and pounce on one another in the grass, climbing on their mother's back and playing with her ears and tail in a never-ending game. Each clumsy pounce is one of their first lessons in hunting. In this arid land, a mother's care is the safest fortress for these small lives. And in these rare moments of peace, the entire savanna seems to fall silent, leaving only the sound of the wind and the warmth of the lion family. In the Masai Mara, the apex predators have always been symbols of absolute power. They are perfect killing machines, the culmination of thousands of years of evolution, where life and death are separated by a single breath. The Masai Mara, a story of relentless hunters and the fight for survival. As the first rays of sunlight appear on the horizon, the Masai Mara awakens in a majestic scene. Solitary acacia trees stand tall, casting sharp, dark shadows against the vibrant sky, like silent sentinels of this wild land. In a seemingly quiet moment, the cold, golden eyes of a Nile crocodile slowly break the murky surface of the Mara River, revealing just a fraction of its lethal danger. Somewhere in the tall grass, cheetahs glide like ghosts, their agile bodies blending into the landscape, almost invisible. On the quiet banks of the Mara, a pride of lions gathers silently, leisurely enjoying cool sips of water in the searing heat of the savanna. A magnificent male lion suddenly lets out a thunderous roar. The sound echoes across the vast plains, a declaration of indisputable power. In the Masai Mara, the weak are never allowed to survive. Located in southwestern Kenya, the Masai Mara is a masterpiece of nature, where golden plains stretch to the horizon, intersected by the Mara River, which winds like a silver thread glittering in the sun. This is the cradle of the most fearsome predators, a perfect portrait of the balance between power and adversity. The lion's sharp eyes immediately spot a warthog lingering near the bushes. Wasting no time, it launches into pursuit. The warthog quickly becomes a satisfying meal for the entire pride. With over 90 species of mammals and 570 species of birds, the Masai Mara boasts one of the most diverse ecosystems in the world. Vast herds of wildebeest move like a living river across the land, creating a spectacular sight. Giraffes stretch their long necks, zebras graze peacefully, and rare birds soar in the open sky. The Masai Mara is not just a place, it is a living wonder, where nature displays its greatness, but also its ever-present dangers. The Mara River flows swiftly, reflecting the scorching sun, a source of life and a deadly trap. As the main artery of the region, it meanders through the endless plains, carrying the fresh, nourishing water that sustains all life. Millions of wildebeest gather on the riverbanks, forming endless lines as they await the most dangerous moment of their 100-mile migration. The sound of the current merges with the thunder of hooves and the echoing calls of the herd on the other side, creating a tense symphony that signals the harsh trials to come. Beneath the river's surface, a huge, dark shape moves slowly, almost invisible in the murky water. The cold, emotionless eyes of a Nile crocodile watch every movement on the surface. Its sharp teeth remain hidden in the mud, waiting for the right moment. As the wildebeest plunge into the river, creating a chaos of splashing water and panicked cries, a crocodile suddenly erupts from the surface. Its jaws clamp down on its prey, and in an instant, a brutal death roll tears the animal apart. The sound of breaking bones mingles with the victim's cries of agony, until a terrifying silence falls. Here waits a creature from a lost world, a survivor from the age of dinosaurs. Its power is not measured in weight or territory, but in the depth of time. For its jaws close with the force accumulated over 60 million years of evolution, an inescapable return to a primal past. Each year, some 6,000 wildebeest die attempting to cross the Mara River, falling victim to these ancient hunters. They do not hunt merely to survive, but to enforce the unforgiving laws of nature. With terrifying patience, they can wait for hours underwater to execute a single, perfect strike. At the Mara River, life and death are intertwined more intensely than anywhere else on Earth. As the harsh, dry season grips the African plains, the Mara River shrinks to its last remaining pools. On the damp mud of the cracked riverbed, dozens of hippos and crocodiles are forced to crowd together, surviving in a confined space. A silent battle between life and death unfolds hour by hour, revealing the brutality of the wild. Under the searing Masai Mara sun, a lone hippo walks silently across the cracked earth. Each slow, heavy step seems to carry both exhaustion and a final glimmer of hope. It is searching for a place that can offer life, a new pool of water, a chance to survive the harsh, dry season. After a lonely journey across the arid land, the hippo finally finds a waterhole, a precious oasis where its kind are resting peacefully in the cool, life-giving water. There, the remaining waterhole has become the epicenter of survival for all species during the unforgiving dry season. Lions conceal themselves under the sparse trees. Giraffes quietly lower their heads at the water's edge, while herds of antelope and buffalo approach cautiously, all gathering around the last source of life in the vast Masai Mara. Hippos are the characteristic inhabitants of the Mara River, playing an irreplaceable role in maintaining ecological balance. Spending more than 16 hours a day submerged to protect their sensitive skin from the burning sun, these creatures, weighing up to 6,600 pounds, move slowly along the riverbed with graceful steps, as if dancing in their own peaceful aquatic world. As the young hippo quietly approaches the new pool, its arrival quickly draws the wary eyes of the territory-holding hippos. Unwilling to accept a stranger, the members of the pod react instantly. The dominant male, massive and scarred, moves forward with unquestionable authority. A fierce battle begins. A single hippo can excrete up to 55 pounds of dung per day, a seemingly insignificant act, yet it is an essential source of nutrients. This waste promotes the growth of aquatic plants and small fish populations, indirectly nourishing the entire Mara River ecosystem. Under the scorching African sun, the Masai Mara savanna is a stage for the great predators. Chief among them is the lion, a symbol of power and majesty. The roar of a male lion can be heard up to 5 miles away, shaking the savanna and putting every creature on alert. While the male lion stands proudly on a rocky outcrop with his magnificent mane, it is the lionesses who are the true warriors. Hidden in the tall grass, their sharp eyes watch every movement of the zebras and antelope. With perfect coordination, they encircle their prey, launching precise attacks. Although their bite force is only about 1,000 pounds, they do not need bone-crushing jaws, for their technique is to clamp down on the prey's throat until it suffocates, felling their target in moments. Across the vast Masai Mara, zebras stand out with their black and white stripes, like bold brushstrokes on a living canvas of nature. This distinctive appearance makes them a favorite target for lions, the region's ultimate predator. However, a zebra is not an easy kill. They possess powerful legs, always ready to bolt like an arrow, trying to escape the predator's claws with incredible speed and agility. The pride of lions approaches in silence, their steps so light they seem to glide over the grass. Their sharp eyes remain fixed on the zebras grazing nonchalantly, completely unaware of the danger. But the pride does not attack immediately. Predatory instinct tells them to wait. To wait for the golden moment, when the prey is most vulnerable, its guard completely down. And then, that moment arrives. With a decisive leap, the lioness launches herself like an arrow, shattering the silence. Sensing the danger, the zebra panics and bolts. With its powerful legs and incredible speed, it puts all its energy into escaping the deadly claws close behind. After a breathtaking chase, the zebra is exhausted and cannot escape the lion's decisive attack. But the law of the predator does not exist only in Africa. Across the ocean, under a different sun, the same ancient drama unfolds, but with a new cast of characters. Here, in the deserts of North America, the throne is not announced with a roar, but with a rattle. The planet's most dangerous snakes: speed, venom, and power. The super predators of the shadows, the snake and its battle for survival. Amidst the arid deserts and semi-deserts of North America, where the wind whips sand across a sun-scorched landscape, a distinctive sound rises, the rattle of a rattlesnake's tail. That sound is a warning from the kingdom of death, a reminder that here lurks one of the most dangerous predators of the American West. Belonging to the genus Crotalus, the rattlesnake is the embodiment of silent danger, honed by millions of years of evolution into a perfect assassin. The rattle is the rattlesnake's most striking feature, composed of hollow, interlocking segments of keratin. When threatened or preparing to strike, the snake vibrates its tail up to 50 times a second, creating its characteristic sound. This sound not only intimidates enemies, but is also a clear warning that death is near. The rattlesnake's lethal power lies in its hemotoxic venom, which directly attacks the blood and muscle tissues, impairing blood clotting and causing rapid necrosis. A single bite can cause uncontrollable bleeding and lead to death within hours if left untreated. The strike itself is incredibly fast, just 0.2 of a second, leaving the victim almost no time to react. Across the lush wetlands of East Africa, as the morning mist begins to clear, a symbol of royalty stirs into life. The grey-crowned crane, nature's most celebrated dancer, steps into the light with an ancient, timeless pride. Their crowning glory is a spectacular golden crest, radiating like captured shards of sunlight atop their heads. Piercing blue eyes survey the domain, contrasting sharply with the powerful, velvet-red gular sac at their throat. Standing over a meter tall, they move through the reed beds with the grace and poise of true monarchs. This beauty is not merely for show. It is the key to an ancient ritual, the most critical chapter in their life cycle. As the mating call echoes, an invisible stage is set amidst the vast, untamed wilderness. It begins with rhythmic bows, a gesture of profound respect and trust offered to a partner. Sweeping wings unfurl, displaying a masterclass of chestnut and snowy white plumage. Their resonant, trumpet-like calls drift across the savanna, at once a territorial claim and a vow of devotion. These are lifelong companions, and this intricate dance is the invisible thread that binds a monogamous pair forever. Uniquely among their kin, a specialized hind toe allows them to roost high in the trees, watching over the world below. Yet, the vanishing wetlands now threaten to silence this magnificent dance forever. Uganda's national bird stands firm, a living testament to the resilience and raw beauty of the African continent. Amidst the harshness of the wild, the grey-crowned crane shines like a living jewel, a masterpiece of evolution gifted to this ancient land.